Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Wanted to get on here today with a totally different kind of video. What I want to talk about today is how I have read the Bible in 1 year. And I have started many times in the past trying to read the Bible in a year, and this is my first time I have actually almost succeeded. I have until the end of September, and I have until the end of September, and I have that much left to go. And I'm just going to tell you how I did that. And it was really easy, very rewarding. I feel like I'm so much closer to God after doing this than before, and focused and happy and peaceful in the middle of all of 2020. This has really gotten me through, and very valuable. I will tell you what led me to do this was that I had a health scare, and I thought it's one of those times that you go, I'm not going to be here forever. Like, really, things could end at any time. Have I told my children everything I want to tell them? And so I started going through this Bible, trying to get through it in a year so that I could take notes for my kids. And then after I finish this one, I have another one waiting, and I'm going to do it again for my other child. So that was my motivation to do this. All right, I'm going to tell you how I got through my Bible in a year. I started in 4 different points of the Bible. I started with a psalm right in the middle of the Bible. I went to Psalms and started with the Psalms, and I read 1 chapter out of Psalms every day. Then I went to the New Testament and read a chapter of Matthew every day. And then halfway through the New Testament, I can't remember where I started it, but like around halfway, like Philippians or Timothy or something, and read a chapter that way. So a chapter of Psalms, a chapter of Matthew at the first of the New Testament, and I'll make notes down below, and then about halfway through the New Testament, and hit a chapter there, and take that on through the end of the New Testament. Then in the Old Testament, I also went back to Genesis and started with Genesis and read a chapter there. So that's 4 chapters that I was starting my day with. Okay, y'all, something I neglected to tell you in the video is I'm starting at those 4 parts: Matthew, Philippians, around Philippians, Psalms, and Genesis. And then I'm reading on from there. Like, let's say I start in Genesis. I started in Genesis. I'm reading up until Psalms and then stopping there. I started at Psalms and I'm reading through Malachi, the end of the Old Testament. I started at Matthew and I continue on reading until I meet up with where I started at that next point. I hope that makes sense. And then when I started at Philippians, I am reading to the end of the New Testament. So it's like I'm taking little chunks and reading until the next point where I started. So I'm having trouble saying that, but I hope that makes sense. Genesis through Psalms, Psalms through the end of the Old Testament, Matthew through wherever I started, Philippians, and Philippians through the end of the New Testament. And so I'm taking it in little chunks, and that seemed to help. I will say next time I do this, I don't think I'm going to break the Old Testament up, because now that I'm meeting up with Psalms from Genesis to Psalms, I'm like, what happened in Jeremiah? I can't remember. And I know the Israelites and the Judeans are being exiled, and I'm like, what happened after that? It's like my context is off. So next time, I think I'm going to start in Genesis and just read all the way through. And the New Testament, I can chunk that up like I did last time. So I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, put that down below, but wanted to clarify that. So that's 4 chapters that I'm starting my day with. Sometimes, now I like to do it in the morning, but I don't work. So if I was working, I'd probably do a chapter or 2 in the morning, and then maybe 1 at lunch, and then at the end of the day. So by the end of the day, I was reading 4 chapters, and then sometimes more. I will tell y'all what I finished first was Psalms through the end of the Bible and the New Testament. What's taking me a long time is Genesis through Psalms, but as I finished those others, the New Testament and the Psalms and the Proverbs, I've gone back and I'm rereading a Psalms and a Proverbs, but I'm doubling up on this first half of the Old Testament because it seems to be going a lot slower. This just seems to be taking me longer for some reason. And I will tell you the Old Testament, what I am taking away from that I have never taken away before is, yes, we're not under the old law anymore, but I love reading the Old Testament and learning about God's nature, about who he is, about how he feels about us, what made him mad, with the Israelites and with the kings and the judges. What did he not like then? He still doesn't like it today. He's not speaking it through prophets anymore, but he still doesn't like it. And so I'm learning so much about his nature that I did not know in the past. It's like as I've gotten older, I'm picking, different things up. And just learning his nature and how much he loves us has been amazing. It's such a blessing to me this year. It is time consuming. It is a time that I have to put aside. That has also taught me to put him first, because to read the Bible in a year, you really have to focus and commit time. Okay, my computer just went down. Okay, the time that I put in, if you are going to get through the Bible in a year, it really makes you set aside that time, which prioritizes him. I've had to put him back at the very top of my priority list, and I've gotten so much back for that. Better guidance for my children, a happier marriage, more calm and peaceful than I have a right to be in the year we're going through. Right now, we are finding assisted living for my parents. My dad is in the hospital with COVID. The COVID year, the lockdown, with everything going on, I know where I can turn. And I know because in the past, because I sat down every day with this, that it's my favorite time of day. It is sometimes my only place of peace during the day. And when my dad went to the hospital with COVID, I knew that. I wasn't scrambling like, what can I do to make myself feel better? I knew what to do. I spent 2 days on my bed reading my Bible and praying. And I would not have done that if I hadn't gone through my Bible in a year, because it's shown me and it's taught me that's your only place of peace some days. And if that's your only place of peace, stay there as much as possible. And it's also made me realize a memory verse that I'm doing actually right now. It's 2 Corinthians 9:6, I believe. Okay, I haven't memorized it very good yet. Hold on. And I promise I memorize these. I do memorize these, but we're only, what is today? Wednesday. I still have a couple of days. It's an easy one. But 2 Corinthians 9:6, remember this: whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Well, that's talking about giving, but what I've realized this year is it's also talking about time, money, attention, prayer, worship. Whatever I put in, whatever I sow into this, I'm going to reap back. So on the days when I think, I don't really have time to do this, but I'm doing it, and I sit down, my whole day goes smoother. Where I would be scrambling and trying to get everything in, everything fits in. It's like he gives that back. It doesn't make any sense any more than the tithing. If you're giving 10%, test him on that. He gives that back. He also gives it back in time. So whatever you put into this, he will give that back. And that's what I've discovered, that this is my most important thing I do all day. This is my most important thing I do all day. And that's what I've taken away from this. I believe I've learned God's nature. I believe I've learned more how he feels about us, why he forgives us over and over and over. I feel his love more. I just can't tell y'all how much I've learned in getting that time back, because I'm always rushed. If you've been following me for a while, you know this. I've always gotten up, I get ready, I go to the gym, I'm very structured, I don't veer off my diet, my exercise, I'm very regimented. And this has made me, just this one thing, has made me, nope, you're slowing down. Are you putting the back first? Are you putting weights first? Are you putting your makeup first? What are you putting over me? What's over this? Used to, everything was pretty much over this. And this was an afterthought. You read the Bible in a year, it can't be. This can't be an afterthought. It's got to be your first thought, and then how am I getting the rest of that in? You throw a couple of devotionals in and some spiritual books, and much of your day is about God. So anyway, those are the things that I've taken away from my year of reading the Bible, and I'm about to do it again. And when I do read this again, when I read the Bible again, every time I start reading my Bible again, which hopefully I'll never put it down again and take breaks, but every time I pick it up again, I get something new out of it. The word is literally, in the Bible, it says it's alive. It literally is. It literally gets into my spirit and speaks to me where I am. So next time I go through my Bible, it will speak to me in a totally different way where I am at that moment. I want to talk for a minute to you if you are new to studying the Bible. Be patient with yourself and realize it might take a minute to get into it. But as you read it more and more, it starts making sense. You start understanding it. So don't give up. The version that I like to read, I find this very easy to understand. This is the NIV, the New International Version. I find this pretty easy to understand. This also has notes at the bottom that explain. If I don't understand, it explains down here what I'm reading. It also gives historical background and context. So it makes it easier to, if I don't understand something, I've got it down here. This has a lot of good study notes. It's called a study Bible. Also, you could start with the Message. It is street language. It's current, modern street language. And you might like the Message. Joyce Meyer likes the Amplified Version that gives explanations for words as you read it. I find that to be over-explaining to me, but you might like that. So I'm going to link all of these Bibles. I've already got my Bible linked. I'll link the Message and the Amplified Bible. But again, if you're just starting out, be patient with yourself and just every time you sit down to read, pray, open my eyes, show me what you want me to learn. And I promise he will show you what he wants you to learn. It reminds me of a recent memory verse that I did. I think it was Jeremiah 29:13. But the verse said, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your hearts." And over in the Bible, God says, if you seek me, you will find me. You seek me, I will show myself to you. And he will. So every day when I sit down and start to read my Bible, I usually pray, please open my eyes, show me what you want me to get out of this. Show me what I need to hear. And he will do that, I promise. But if you're just starting out, be patient with yourself. Anyway, y'all let us know any tips you have for reading more in your Bible and focusing on God, or if you just have any words of wisdom for us, put those down below, and that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Leave comments and questions down below, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Y'all have a good day.